Hello and welcome to Security Scan. I'm Vishal Dahiya, and this week we will talk about pinaka-guided rocket system. Now, the upgraded version of indigenously developed pinaka-guided rocket system was successfully flight tested last week from integrated test range of the Odisha coast. Now, the multi-barrel rocket launch system Pinak Mark II, developed by DRDO, is modified as a missile by integrating the navigator, control and guidance systems to improve the accuracy and enhance the range. Pinak is capable of striking into enemy territory up to a range of 75 kilometers with high precision. The navigation system is also aided by Indian Regional Navigation Satellite System, NAVIC. Joining me for more on this particular weapon system is a distinguished panel of guests today. Let me first introduce the guests to you, beginning with Dinakar Peri, defense correspondent, The Hindu. We also have with us Retired Brigadier Rumail Dahiya, a defense expert, and we also have with us Retired Major General Ashwani Kumar Sivach. Welcome all of you gentlemen to Rajya Sabha TV studios. Let me begin with you, General. Understand what exactly is Pinak-guided rocket system?
Vishal, you see, pinaka-guided missile system, then basically the multi-barrel rocket launcher, which has got a launcher which has got 12 rockets can be fired, and in a battery there are 6 launchers, and they can be fired within 44 seconds. So you can imagine that almost 72 bombs will be falling almost at the same point of time. Now, as far as Pinaka-1 is concerned, this need was felt, to have your own rocket system somewhere in early part of 80s, but it did not able to materialize. But finally, it came slightly of the age in 99 when there was already there with us the Pinaka-1. It was tested in the war, and that was in Kargil war. We were not getting success there, and you were finding that the enemy had made some Buckner, and it was very difficult to destroy. Or basically Pinaka, which was used, and it was very successful. It found that it could destroy those bunkers, and therefore in 2000 February, a first induction of this Pinaka regiment was done.
Okay,
and this was the start point. Now 10 of them have come by 2022. There will be 10 of them. Now 2 more are in pipeline, 6 more request has been already given. So these were basically private public sector. It was between Tata Power, SAD as well as L&T and by the ordnance factory.
Okay.
Now this was the one which it felt that it was a game changer. One is it is indigenously produced. Second thing is that this can make a havoc on the enemy territory, especially the built-up area or gun position or rocket position, or the say, including that it can be utilized for laying the anti-personnel, anti-tank mines at short notice. So this was Pinaka-1. The range was only about 40 to 45 kilometers.
Okay.
So the need was felt that once we have manufactured indigenously and we have a capability, that there is a requirement of increasing the range and improving the navigation.
Okay.
And hence, the Pinaka-2, which we have now tested it in 19th December and 20th December in Barasol, Chandipur range in Odisha. This is the one where the ARD and DRDL, that is Defense Research and Development Laboratory in Pune, they both collaborated and developed a new weapon system which has a range of 75 kilometers, and also a navigation system which is basically aided by Indian Regional Navigation Satellite, which is called NAVIC. So it has also got 2 things. One is the range has become 75 kilometers, and second thing is that its accuracy on the target area.
Okay.
So this is a game changer. Okay. It is a force multiplier, and this is again indigenous. So the point is the Pinaka-1 was indigenous, Pinaka-2 is also indigenous. There is an extended version of this is coming, which will have a range up to 90 kilometers. Okay. So overall, it's a very good weapon system, and when you add this weapon system with what we are now getting it over a period of time, after Bofors in 87, we were not able to modernize the artillery of Indian Army because due to the alleged corruption charges. Now 2 things we have also added: M777, which are lightweight howitzer, which we have got it 145 from America, and these are basically manufactured in collaboration with Mahindra Defense, and these are about 145, which will be about 7 regiments, which will be coming over a period of time. And then 4, we have taken K9 Vajra. This K9 Vajra is a South Korean, again a very potent weapon which is there, we are now taking it almost 100 of them, about 5 to 6. So this has also come, and in addition to that, these two weapons, this weapon is a game changer. And then what we have done is, buffer we are not getting, so we have also indigenously manufactured Dhanush, which is a carbon copy of basically a buffer. So overall, modernization of artillery is on the track with these modern weapon system and Pinaka-2 coming, and thereafter subsequently we are even thinking of collaborating with Israel for Pinaka-3 range of 120 kilometers. So it looks like that modernization plan of artillery is on the right track.
Okay, so that's the overall picture of the artillery, as General Sivach has pointed out. Because let me bring you in here, and on the aspect of Pinak Mark II, which we talked that it has been upgraded and it has been modified as a missile by integrating the navigation and control systems. So what's the difference here between Mark I, Mark II, and how much improvement is there, would you say, from the field operation point of view?
You see, Mark I, the stated range was 38.5 kilometers. Roughly, we call it 40 kilometers. The modified one, which we are seriously working on now, is 65 to 75 kilometers.
Okay.
So on an average of 70 kilometers, let's say, for maximum range. So from 38.5, it will go up to 70 kilometers. That's number one. Number two is, the Pinaka-2 rocket's nose has an antenna. This antenna makes it suitable for guidance. So what will happen now is that there are 2-3 improvements that are being made on the system. One, increase of range. So obviously propellant will change. Second thing that's happening is that it will be given a guidance system based on using NAVIC, and also simultaneously also employing weapon locating systems that we had got from America, as also a Swati missiles, which we are ourselves manufacturing indigenously, and an order for 28 of them have already been given. Also using Searcher 1, Searcher 2 and Heron UAVs, and also battlefield surveillance radars that are already in service. So what we are going to try to do is that using all these systems, we'll be able to designate the targets, improve its trajectory, thereby improving the circular error of probability, which is 60 to 80 meters now. It'll come down further. So the accuracy will improve, the range will improve, and another thing that will come into guidance subsequently is that mid-course correction will take place, because many a time what happens is that the concentration of tanks, for example, now that concentration by the time you launch it might have taken place, and you want to carry out certain sort of modifications with regard to the target designation or the movement of the target. So the best advantage that we will get by making it guidance, a guided weapon, is that we will be able to change the trajectory mid-course, thereby being more effective on ground. So therefore range will improve, the circular error of probability will get reduced, so therefore the accuracy will improve, and we will be able to change the target or the coordinates of the target even after the weapon system has been launched. Now the whole idea is this. Of course, we must also understand that whereas it is a game changer, it's a very useful weapon, there are certain restrictions to the weapon. One is that the Tatra 8x8 vehicle it makes a long chain. As a result, it can't be employed in all kinds of terrain. That's number one. Number two, in mountains, etc., where road infrastructure is not that advanced, its employment gets reduced tremendously. Third is that even now, when compared to Smerch, wherein one rocket costs about 80 lakhs to 1 crore rupees, although the rocket of Pinaka-1 costs just about 25 to 30 lakh rupees, an improved version of this with guidance part also being there in the nose of the rocket, the rocket is not going to come cheap. It is at least going to be 50 lakhs to 60 lakh rupees. My initial estimate suggests that. Secondly,
but still cheaper than Smerch.
Yeah, it's still cheaper than Smerch. Second is that when we initially bought Pinaka-1, its cost was 2.5 crore rupees per system when we placed the order initially for 40 of them each with Tata Advanced Systems, SCD, and with the Heavy Engineering Division of L&T. So the cost was 2.5 crore rupees. The last time in 2016 when we placed the orders for 2 regiments, it was 3,300 crore rupees. The prices had gone up. Obviously, it was not only rocket launcher, but
platform and the entire weapon system.
However, the moment you make it guided weapon system, is going to be much more expensive. So we must be very careful about, when we start demanding more and more of them, all those things will have to be balanced.
Okay, but then that is what the demand of the warfare is presently, to ensure that there is a guided rocket system like this. Let me bring in Dinakar here. Dinakar, General Sivaj pointed out how we began, somewhere in the late 80s to try and have this multi-barrel rocket launcher system. Now, if we look at the timeline and the way we have reached here in 2019, having indigenously developed the guided version of this rocket launcher system and modified as a missile as well. So how would you look at this entire journey?
See, as you rightly pointed out, it began in the 80s, and the guided one, in fact, the first test of the guided rocket was done in 2017, Jan 2017. So if you actually see like with all major military platform developments, the initial transition takes a bit of time, but subsequent upgrades are much faster. So as we see, in 2 years, 3 years, we have the guided rocket ready. And in fact, what the Mark 1 to now the guided Pinaka brings in is an area weapon, unguided, now gives you a precision capability.
Okay.
So that's where the transition is. See, and effectively with this, the Indian Army and the Indian military and even the political establishment, in the event of a future preemptive strike or the surgical strike scenarios which I've seen over the last few years, so we'll have in their option punitive action or a precision strike without crossing the border at all, which happened in 2016. The army had to go across. Early this year, the Indian fighter jets had to briefly cut into go across the LOC and then come back to deliver their load. Now you have another option, say for launch pads, etc., within a certain 90 kilometers is a considerable standoff distance for you to engage from across the line of control or the border. So Indian Army gets this capability. Yes, it's expensive, as the Brigadier has rightly pointed out. The point is, in such a scenario, if you're looking at the threat environment which we have in the neighborhood and India's unique situation, this is probably a much cheaper option for you to exercise,
and then gives us a enhanced capability
and
to go ahead and strike deep within the enemy territory.
And it's an indigenous one. It's our system. Our companies have built it, and it's again a great example of a private sector partnership which has successfully worked since its inception.
Okay.